Hello everyone, I'm back here in Elden Ring, continuing my series for absolute beginners and newcomers to the game. And this time I want to talk to you about the guard counter. So guard counter is a mechanic in Elden Ring that allows you to inflict high damage on an enemy just after blocking one of the hits. So the easiest way to do that is to have a shield equipped. And what we're going to do is block the hit from the enemy, and as soon as we block it, we then press R2, so the heavy attack, to then cause additional damage to the enemy. Elden Ring is really well designed. There's loads of different visual and sound cues to kind of let you know when you've done something that's different to the norm, especially sound cues. So you'll see here with the guard counter, there'll be a specific chime noise, there'll be a slight white flash, which indicates to you that you've done it correctly. So we'll go and do it towards this enemy. So we'll target it, put our shield up, wait for him to attack. There we go. You saw the flash and you heard the noise. So that means you've done a guard counter correctly. The thing to bear in mind with guard counter is that you don't just have to do it with a shield. You can do it with your weapon as well. You can do it with any weapon. So for that, we're going to double hand our sword and then use that as the blocking piece of equipment. So with holding L1. What you have to bear in mind, however, when it comes to blocking with weapons, and just to give you, I guess, additional information about guard counters, if you go to your equipment, that's my sword there, the Zweihander. If you look in the middle of the screen, you'll see a stat that says guard boost, and it says guard boost 49. That basically tells you it's a number on how good at blocking that sword actually is. So it means that actually it's pretty decent, but it could be that if you block with it and an enemy does a strong enough attack, it could actually break your stance. Because compare it to just a pretty average shield. The shield is 59. So shields will have normally higher guard boost than weapons. Some obviously heavier weapons will give you pretty good guard boost as well. But just bear that in mind because it is linked to your stamina. When you block, your stamina takes a hit. So the higher the guard boost stat is, the less stamina you'll actually take on that hit. If your stamina completely depletes, that's when your stance will be broken and you'll be like open to attack for a split second and you won't be able to do anything about it. So we'll go towards this enemy and we'll try and block with the sword. Wait for him to attack. There we go. You saw then, he did a heavy attack with his hammer, and my whole stamina bar depleted, and it left me open to attack. Let's see if he does a normal attack, then we'll be able to do a guard counter. There we go. So he did there an equivalent of probably an R1 attack that we would do, and I was able to take that with the sword and then counter. If I'd had my shield, even with his heavy attack, I probably would have been able to block it no problem and then be able to counter him. One thing to also bear in mind on top of this is that when you hold block, whether it's with your shield or whether it's with your weapon, while in combat, so not when you're like just roaming around like here, when you're in combat, your stamina regenerates much slower. So the best thing to do is, if you're using guard counters a lot, is that in between hits, you actually let go of your block button and your stamina will actually regenerate faster rather than holding it and it coming back quite slow. So let's try and demonstrate that with some of the enemies around here so we're not having to engage the whole camp and it gets really crazy. Okay. So I'm going to do it with my shield, and I'm going to keep my shield held so you can see my stamina coming back. So look here. Look how it's inching back, takes a hit, inches back. Okay, now I'm going to let go in between his hits. Come on then. Okay, letting go, it accelerates. We'll do it here again. Actually, that was a small hit. Come on, give me a good hit. Let it go. Comes back quick. Comes back quick. So get used to kind of not always relying on having the button pressed, but doing it in between. Wait for him to hit again. So that was a heavy attack, that last one that enemy did. And if I would have been guard countering with my sword, he definitely would have broken my stance, and then I would have been a bit vulnerable for a split second. So again, experiment with different shields, experiment with different weapons. As I said, heavier weapons will allow you kind of a guard counter, which is pretty decent and pretty similar to a shield, but a lot of them don't. But you can even use your like a dagger to guard counter. You can even use it, but you have to bear in mind that its stat. So, for example, if we go into a dagger here, you can see its guard boost is 15. So anyone that does a kind of a slightly stronger hit, they're just going to break through. But you can probably block like an equivalent of an R1 hit, then guard counter as well. But it's better saved for using with shields or with heavier weapons as well. So thanks for watching, guys. I hope that you found that useful, and I'll catch you all very soon.